Hello and welcome back to Possession Football. Now, I did say I was going to preview the Copa America, but there seems to be some confusion with what on earth is going on with that. It was meant to be hosted in Argentina and Colombia now. Colombia's been stripped as a host due to civil unrest. None of the squads have been revealed. There are some World Cup qualifiers in South America, but nobody really knows what's happening with Copa America. So we will continue apace with our Euro 2020 previews, starting with Group B now, and we've got Denmark, the first team in that. Now, Denmark made the round of 16 in the 2018 World Cup. They won their UEFA Nations League Group B and got promoted to Division A for the next tournament. They qualified second in Group D. That was Switzerland's group, if you remember the preview there. In their Nations League campaign, the second time, they did very well, coming second in Division A behind Belgium, but ahead of England and Iceland. And they've started World Cup qualifying with 3 wins in very good form. They do have 2 friendlies before the tournament, one against Germany and Austria, and one at home to Bosnia and Herzegovina. And they're in Group B with Finland, Belgium and Russia. All 3 games are in Copenhagen, which they would hope gives them an extra boost. So let's have a look at that qualifying group. You can see there with Switzerland, Republic of Ireland, Georgia and Gibraltar. Didn't actually lose a game, but in total 5 draws and 3 wins. It was an interesting campaign, but they got the job done and qualified in second place. There has been a new manager since then, though, and that is Casper Dolberg. Dolberg's career, well, his playing career was quite unremarkable, and he had to end it early due to a knee injury. He started becoming a manager with Lyngby, first their under-18 team, then their second team, and then on New Year's Day 2006, finally their first team. He did win the Danish First Division, which is actually their second tier, as his first trophy there, but then decided to move on to FC Nordsjælland to become the assistant manager. But in 2011, he was given the main job, and in his first season there, he won the Danish league title, the Superliga. He stayed there until 2014, where he finally got a big move to one of Europe's first top 5 leagues to manage Mainz in the Bundesliga, but that didn't go very well. Got knocked out of the Europa League early, as well as the DFB Pokal. He got sacked with the team in 14th with just 1 win in 13 games. So he returns to Nordsjælland in 2016 and managed to turn around the club's fortunes. But he ended up leaving the team at the end of his contract. In 2020, there was an arrangement that the former manager, Arga Harida, would manage until Euro 2020 when his contract ended, and then Hjulmand would take over. In the end, Euro 2020 was postponed, as we all know, but Harida's contract ran out anyway, and Hjulmand duly took over. So, Hjulmand is in charge of Euro 2020. As I said, he wasn't in charge of the qualifiers, but he has started well in the Nations League and the World Cup qualifiers. You can see his trophies and awards, just 1 Danish second tier and 1 Danish league title. Although Nordsjælland, when he won the title with them, it was the first time that team had ever won the Danish league. So he does know Danish football, evidently. Has a lot of managerial experience there. And he has picked his final 26-man squad, starting with the goalies, and this one's pretty cut and dry. Kasper Schmeichel will start. He's a big asset for Denmark, and he'll play a big part for them. The backup goalies are Jonas Lørsel and Fredrik Runau, and there's little to say about those two. They're fine backup goalies. That's their job, but it will be Schmeichel that plays. The defenders are Jens Striger Larsen. He's the backup right back, although because Udinese play a back 5, he's been more of a right wing back this season. He starts for Udinese, but for Denmark he is a backup. Simon Kjaer is the centre back, been important for Milan. First name on the tee sheet for Denmark, key part for them. He'll be partnered by Andreas Christensen of Chelsea, who's finally got regular football since Chelsea brought in Thomas Tuchel. Played well, he could even start in the Champions League final, and he's an important player for Denmark. Joachim Andersen from Fulham, one of the few Fulham players to actually leave a positive impression this season, but I still think he's only going to be a backup. Daniel Vaz is a natural right back, even though he's sort of been used all over the place for Valencia this season, but he will start at right back ahead of Striger Larsen for Denmark. Matthias Jorgensen, or you might know him as Sanka, their centre-back has raised a few eyebrows with his selection because he's Copenhagen haven't had the best defence this season, and he's not even guaranteed a game for them. In the end, though, it doesn't matter too much because he is just a backup centre-back, but certainly got a few people talking over in Denmark. Joachim Mila, he's naturally a right back, and been used as a right midfielder for Atalanta this season. For Denmark, he will play as a left back though, and he does start for them at left back, and that is probably because of Vaz being ahead of him, and they don't really have many other left backs, so that's where he'll play. Yannick Vestergaard of Southampton, probably Denmark's third centre back. Out of all their backup centre backs, he'll be the one that I expect will be utilised if anything happens to Kjaer or Christensen. And then Nikolai Boylsson, who is their backup left back. Not much to say about him. Few people were surprised he was selected, but he is only a backup left back. The only natural left back in the squad, actually, because Mila being played out of position there. And that probably shows you how he's not too highly rated because they're playing a right back ahead of him. In midfield, we have 8 players. Matthias Jorgensen of Brentford, central midfielder who's a backup for Denmark. Norgard, also of Brentford, another backup central midfielder. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg of Tottenham is a central midfielder, although because of Denmark's formation it's more of a defensive midfielder, and he's one of the first names on the team sheet. His partner is Thomas Delaney of Dortmund, who's actually been getting quite a few games for Dortmund, one of the regulars for them and definitely a regular for Denmark, so it's quite a good double pivot, both playing for big teams in Europe's top 5 leagues. Anders Christiansen of Malmö, who was another player that raised a few eyebrows with selection. He's another central midfielder, more attacking minded than Norgard or Jensen, which is perhaps why he's brought in, but he hasn't got a cap since 2015. He's unlikely to be more than a backup, but certainly surprised a few people, his selection. Christian Eriksen, well, we all know about him. He did start life poorly at the San Siro, but he's hit form at the perfect time for Denmark in attacking midfield. He's Denmark's main man, and really they need him to do well if they're to go far in the tournament, because in terms of attacking options, I mean, actual forwards, they don't have regular goal scorers. Eriksen is their main guy. Mikael Damsgaard of Sampdoria, even though he's listed as a midfielder, I see him more likely to be the backup left winger. But he's been played all over the shop, often coming on for 20 minutes or 30 minutes off the bench for Sampdoria this season. Robert Skov, he's sort of another utility man. He's naturally a right winger, but he can also play at left back, and he can pretty much play anywhere else if you want him to. So just somebody, a Swiss Army knife, they can bring on if there's any problems in a position. And now, finally, we go on to the players listed as forwards, of which there are 6. Starting with Martin Braithwaite, who plays for Barcelona, centre forward for them, not a regular starter. In fact, he hasn't started for the Blaugrana since February. He does start for his country, but shifted out to left wing. Andreas Cornelius of Parma, and like most Parma players, he's failed to impress this season. Probably quite lucky to make the squad, but he is a backup striker for his country. Andreas Scovolson of Bologna, he's had a bit of an injury-hit campaign, and since moving to the Italian league, it has been tough. But he's still done enough to make the squad, and he'll be a backup right winger. Yusuf Poulsen of Leipzig, he is a striker naturally, but he's not really a prolific goal scorer for either Leipzig or Denmark, and he's actually likely to be shifted out to play on the right wing for this tournament. Casper Dolberg of Nice, he's recovered from injury, but he has had quite a difficult season, and he's not guaranteed a spot in the starting 11, and that's mainly because of the form of this man, Jonas Vind. He's a striker who's been used at second striker attacking midfield, but he's been in good form this season, and he's in pole position to be starting striker for Denmark, and you'd think that, well, yes, Dolberg plays in the French league, but you'd rather somebody who's banging them in the Danish league than failing to score in the French league because one's in good goal-scoring form. Well, in the qualifiers under the previous coach, they were switching between a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-3-3 with 2 DMs and 1 attacking midfielder. But Hjulmand, when he did use the 4-3-3, he preferred the one with 1 DM and 2 central midfielders. He tried a 3-5-2 against Iceland, but it is that 4-2-3-1 that he does prefer, it seems. My predicted 11 will have Casper Schmeichel in goal, a back four of Vass, Christensen, Kjær and Mila, Højbjerg and Delaney in the engine room, Poulsen and Braithwaite on the wings, and Eriksen at number 10, Vind as the main striker. Well, I hope you learnt something about Denmark and their team. There will be updates on the Copa America when there's more news, but given the uncertainty, I just wait a bit. We are heading over the Nordic countries to Finland for the next episode, and we'll see you for that. But for now, it's good.